Mark Rosenman, your line is open.
Hi, guys. I have a question for Billy and the three of you. The first question, Billy, and this kind of stuck with me from your introductory press conference where you talked about Stick Michael and, using the eyeballs, looking at a guy on deck and seeing body language. We've talked a lot about analytics. These three guys are really high on base percentage guys. When it comes to hiring a manager, will you give that manager that latitude where maybe a particular batter has good numbers against a pitcher, but that particular day, that manager's eyeballs are telling him differently? And is there more latitude with a veteran manager to be able to do that? And secondly, for the three players, and if you can do it in alphabetical order, you come from small markets that you've played in. Have you spoken to players that have played here in New York, and what extra baggage comes with that? And how are you guys equipped to deal with that? Thanks, guys.
You want me to go first here?
Yeah, please, Billy.
Okay. So thanks for the question, Mark, and appreciate you acknowledging Stick. Very impactful, mentor for me in my developmental years, right, in professional baseball. And so I do value when a batter steps in the batter's box, the ability to make good decisions on swing and no swing, right? So you have a decision to make every single pitch you see. And ultimately, it's not driven by pitches per plate appearance or walks. It's really driven by decision making. And if they make good decisions and people that have, a high degree of concentration and a high degree of focus, and I think that's what I alluded to in that introductory press conference, is people that have that high degree of concentration and focus, tend to make better swing, no swing decisions. And there's the result when you step in the batter's box. The result, that's the process, the swing decisions, right? But the result is you either go on base or you go to the dugout. And so if we can keep people on base and kind of keep a conveyor belt going, that's just the more run scoring opportunities that present themselves. As far as how that plays with our manager, that manager will have the latitude to make those decisions and make those assessments. I like to look at the involvement of information, and we can step back 30 years if you want, 20 years, and before some of the predictive analytics integrated, there were still things that managers were looking at to kind of help guide the decision-making process. Some of those tools have become more formalized, have become better studied, have been, better practiced. Those processes have been improved. And so you can use those to kind of create a map. But a map, I like to look at a map is map's not the territory. So a map is this reduction and says, all right, if you're walking this path, here's an angle you can take to get to where you want to go. Well, what do you do if there's a tree that fell, right? What do you do if there's a forest fire, right? You can't take that. You can't go that way. So you have to have adjustability. And that is where the art comes in to managing a baseball game, putting a lineup together. That's where the decision making comes into play. And you'd love to play odds, right? We all love. There's a huge city in the desert that was built on odds, so we want to play odds, but there's rationale behind maybe not playing that odd at that particular moment in time, and that's what you entrust your coaching staff to be able to kind of filter through, in game. Sorry for the long-winded answer, but I thought it kind of merited some explanation behind it. So that's how we want to look at it.
Thank you, Billy. Alan, if you can finish off for the guys the next part.
Yeah. Ustedes tres han jugado en ciudades pequeñas con los equipos que no tienen tantos reporteros, tanta prensa. Ustedes han hablado con otros jugadores que han jugado aquí para consejos y para poder navegar en una ciudad como Nueva York.
Bueno, no. En realidad no, así.
gente me ha dicho dónde viví y eso, pero no. No, to be honest, I've never asked about it. Some guys have told me what's a good spot to live or things like that, but I've never bothered to ask about the big city and the baggage.
¿Cuál fue la pregunta que hicieron?
Que tú has jugado en una ciudad pequeña sin muchos reporteros, sin mucha atención. Ahora que estás jugando en Nueva York con tanta atención, tú has buscado consejos con los jugadores que han jugado aquí.
No, de verdad, como dicen, todavía no, pero yo creo que tengo muy buena comunicación con Carrasco, con Tahuahua, que todos ellos, yo creo que se les puede hacer la pregunta, también Molindor, pero yo sé que la responsabilidad que uno tiene es jugar aquí en Nueva York, una ciudad grande totalmente diferente a donde uno ha jugado, pero yo creo que cuando uno sabe lo que uno tiene que hacer, cuál es la responsabilidad de uno, yo creo que ese es el secreto de profesional como somos, y eso es lo que uno tiene que, yo creo que porque estemos jugando en Nueva York, yo creo que uno no puede hacer más de lo que uno puede hacer, porque yo creo que no viene el problema. Y eso es lo más importante. Yo creo que pues, Starling Marte y yo somos gente que tenemos nuevo aquí, pero creo que si nosotros sabemos jugar viejo como siempre lo hemos jugado, creo que vamos a estar vivos, vamos a hacer un buen papel. Yo creo que ese es el secreto de nosotros. Sabemos dónde estamos pisando, pero como te lo digo, yo creo que cada uno de nosotros tenemos nuestra responsabilidad y podemos hacer nuestro trabajo como siempre lo hemos hecho.
No, I haven't thought much about it, but I know that I can reach out to Carlos Carrasco, Taiwan Walker, even Francisco Lindor about how it is over here. But I know that playing here is completely different from playing anywhere else, and I know the responsibility that we have when we play for this team and for the city. So I think if we're able to produce the way that we do on field, that what's expected of us, and we're also responsible and we do what we need to do off the field, I think we're going to be okay. I know myself, Mark, and Starling are new to this team, but I think that we can do good things as long as we play to our ability and we're responsible with what's demanded of us off the field.
And finally, Mark, your thoughts there.
Yeah, I've heard, you hear stories about what it's like to play in New York. I've always liked the big stage, kind of, even though I played in Oakland the last 7 years, but every time we go to Yankee Stadium or Fenway Park or Wrigley or these big stadiums with big market clubs, I've always reveled at the chance to play in front of those crowds and kind of show off. So I like the big stage, and I think it also kind of is fitting to my game with the noise and stuff. I think I have an ability, just like I've seen these other guys. I would say the same thing about these guys watching them play. I just have an ability to kind of tune that out and focus on what I need to focus on, and I feel like it kind of gives me an advantage sometimes too when other teams are going to come into New York and maybe be a little shaky. I think that plays into my game because I can control the strike zone and take advantage of that.